Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome students rather than the public administrators, and I can see your faces that you are very happy to know about the history, that tragic history rather than, I would like to say, that of the local governments or any of the political landscape that we have faced. In the beginning of any of the lecture I spoke a very critical sentence that we are the nation who have introduced all kinds of government, but ultimately all the results are not the satisfactory. So in the previous lecture, if you remember, we talked about the Ayub era, post-independence and the Ayub era, and we saw that what was happening in this in context of the local government, starting from the just after 1947, when there was a momentum and the focus was more on the provincial and the central assemblies. This momentum continued and it engulfed all the thinking of the political regime at that time. No need to say that the political regime at that time and the political team was extremely efficient, but the problems were also gigantic and Herculean tasks. Many of the tasks were before this government. So in the beginning, government mostly focused on the central and the provincial assemblies, and although the government made claims to address the local government, but unfortunately this was not done. Either there was no election, and if there was election, very sorry to say that there were malpractices and the people were not given the autonomy. One of the fundamental reasons for this was the political instability, because when a government is unable to complete his tenure, definitely he is not able to launch many of its policies. And there was the tragedies right started from the martyrdom of the first Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan in Rawalpindi. After that, there was coming and going of the Prime Minister continued, and it was on the due to the powerful role of the bureaucracy, particularly the army. Still, army has the powerful role, and in this decade from 50 to 60, when there was the seesaw between the bureaucracy and the political government, no role emerged for the local governments, and the system continued without the local government. In 1958, ultimately the Ayub's inner desire, General Ayub Khan, I may confuse you that you do not know the Ayub Khan, I should have introduced in the previous lecture. He was the first military dictator who ruled Pakistan more than 10 years, from 58 to almost 69-68. So he took over. He was definitely making the ground for this. Ultimately, in 1958, he was in a position to take over, sending the political leaders into the jails, and sending them out of the country, like Musharraf did with the Nawaz Sharif. So at this stage, he, as I said, that every dictator wants to legitimize his rule, and he wants to show the people, making some drama or jugglery, that he is equally popular among the people. So Ayub ultimately has to come, and in the 1962 he introduced the BD form of BDs, the basic democracies, and 80,000 members were elected that were responsible for the election of the provincial and the central, and the president. They were responsible for the election of the president. So there was the president form of government at that time. One or two things about the Ayub Khan. He introduced two very bad reputed ordinance the PODO and the EBDO, the purpose of both the ordinance was to control the political people and to restrict them from politics, because the only competitors to the Ayub Khan were the political people. Ayub has taken charge from these political people. Definitely he was strictly against them, and he introduced these laws, and these were very simple ordinance showing that if there is any problem, any of even the elected representative can be disqualified. So now coming the Ayub period will continue, and after this we will start the other military dictator, that is the Zia era. Why I am focusing on the Zia and these military dictator? Because fortunately they introduced a good mechanism of the, not the good mechanism, but rather I would say a mechanism of the local governments. And it is very sad to say that all the political parties that was supposed to be more inclined towards the local governments, they were unable to introduce any good form of local government. And today, nowadays, we are also seeing that the political government of the Nawaz Sharif is anxiously waiting for the retirement of the Chief Justice so that he could take a sigh of relief, because no elected government in any of the province is willing to hold the local body election. What is the reason? They are claiming that there is less time. Even the PTI chairman Imran Khan, he is also against the holding of this local body elections at this time. And one thing is very good, that this time the local body elections are being convened on the party basis. It means now the democracy, although definitely the local body election will come into being even in the January or February, whatsoever the date, now they are on the scene, and definitely and hopefully they will happen. Nothing can be said in Pakistan with certainty, but looking at the momentum and the scenario, we can predict that this situation will prevail, and it should prevail for the betterment of the country. So the Ayub in the 1962 introduced that system, and in that system he defeated his competitor, that was the Fatima Jinnah. However, near the end of Ayub's rule, the rural bias in Pakistan politics started to wane. इससे पहले जो है क्या हुआ कि, as I said, that the Ayub's rule was more grassrooted into the rural areas, because these basic democracy is more member from the rural areas. So the more development from the rural, if you go to the rural areas, they are more fond of the Ayub regime, because the development expenditure were more granted to these local bodies members, and they were asked to make development, and Ayub knew that his powers lies with these people. But as the Ayub's power started fading, the rural bias, that was the positive bias, not the negative bias in context of the rural areas, in Pakistan politics started to wane. Now this started to disappear. Now there was a regime shift. You will see that the focus that was in the beginning, that was in the rural areas, now it went to the middle class and the urban class. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's success in organizing middle class groups in urban areas was one of the reasons. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto in the when the son of Ayub was just going to sunset, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto took this opportunity, and he established his own party, and during his campaigns, the most activated the people were the middle class, and these were from the urban areas. And now you can see that the men in the grassroots, the roots of the People's Party are in the rural areas. No doubt in the regime of Bhutto, these were also in the rural, Bhutto has the power in the rural areas, but still in the beginning, when just Bhutto launched his party, it was that it was he has enough support and extreme support from the urban areas and particularly from Punjab. By the late 60s, this was the end of Ayub Khan. Urban areas in the Punjab had become important focal point of anti-Ayub mobilization. Now the people had some alternate. On one side the Bhutto was emerging, and the other side now Ayub was tired of the situation. After making 10 years rule, now he was losing his grip. The people were tired of his policies. And the army was also sick of his overlong rule, and now the Yahya Khan was in a position to take charge of this the dictator system. So the focal point, now there were agitations against the Ayub Khan, and there was mobilization, and this was from the urban rural class rather than the urban middle class rather than the rural class. Why? Can you answer? Surely, because the basic democracy system was positively biased in favor of the rural people, because the more representative from the rural areas and more autonomy was given to those people, and they were given funds to develop these people. The Ayub rules still never comes to end, and it was over the 10 years, so it is still on the scene. The new local governments comprised a hierarchical system of 4 linked tiers. When the Ayub introduced this basic democracy system, it has 4 basic tiers. What was this? The lowest tier, the Union Council. The lowest body was the Union Council. It covered a village population of 8,000 to 15,000. There were 4 tiers, you can say, from here: 1, 2, 3 and 4. These were the 4 tiers, and this was the basic tier, that was the Union Council. And what was the condition of the Union Council? If any of the area or the villages, not only one village, more than one village could be possible, and it is still possible, has the population of more than 8,000 and less than 15,000, there was a union council. The other tiers had some members elected indirectly by these BTs. As I said, that these 80,000 basic Democrats were the electoral college of all the elected representative. So this was the lowest tier, and the all others elected members, some other elected members were indirectly elected. Now when the president was being elected, not the people were giving direct vote to the president. These people were playing pivotal role in the election of the president. Some official members nominated by the government. Look at now the similarities between the Ayub regime and the British. दे रहे हैं पावर बेसिक डेमोक्रेसीज को, पॉलिटिकल गवर्नमेंट को पावर्स दे रहे हैं, बट स्टिल सम ऑफिशियल मेंबर्स नॉमिनेटेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट एंड हैड ऑफिशियल्स एज चेयरमैन. These were nominated, it means these were the non-representative members, and these were only used to have a grip on this system that is the ultimate focus of any of the dictator. Similar to the British period, the system was under the bureaucracy through controlling authority. Similar to the British period, system was under the bureaucracy through controlling authority. No need to repeat it again and again, it is over repetition. Just let me clarify that the bureaucrats and the foreign rulers, they tried to keep their grip by their non-elected representative on the elected governments. So same did the Ayub Khan, and as in the previous slide you saw here that there was nominated by the government, and when they were nominated by the government, whether they were the chairman or some other lucrative name, this situation was the other. The controlling authority had the power to quash the proceeding, suspend resolution that were passed. Look at the drama of this, that the elected member, if pass any of the resolution, now it is the local government, I am talking about the local government, if any of the government pass any of the resolution, these nominated persons have the power to quash, set aside categorically without giving any reason to all this resolution that was passed or suspended by the elected member. They could suspend any of the meeting, they could suspend any of the proceeding. So it means that the elected members were puppet in the hands of these nominated people, because these were non-elected, nominated by the government, and they had more powers as compared to the elected government. This is the ultimate objective of any of the non-elected government, that was the General Ayub Khan. Thus the basic democracy scheme, rather better words to use, drama, was not in reality a democracy. डेमोक्रेसी ये कैसे हो सकती है कि जो इलेक्टेड मेंबर हैं उनसे आप यू आर सेइंग दैट इफ दे पास एनी ऑफ द रेजोल्यूशन इवन बाय द यूनानिमसली this nominated person has to quash this all this. So this was not a democracy in the true sense. It was a total drama, jugglery or hypertinism of the nation to just show them that they are being run by the democracy. That's why for it did not represent control by the people. क्यों इसको हम ड्रामा कर रहे हैं? The people has no control over the power, over government power, except in extremely limited manner. Only a few exceptions are always there. Only few examples can be traced when there was when there are example that we can say that there were people were given some of the powers, but ultimately I would like to say that this was not the true democratic or the local government system introduced by the General Muhammad Ayub Khan. I think now we are going to conclude this military dictator rule in context of the local government. The electoral function of the BD system was the most controversial. Many people may make controversies over this. They were saying that this is not the true system. It is not the parliament form of government. It is the presidential form of government. And as Ayub has no political people with on its beheld, on its hands, so he decided to introduce this system. What was the controversies? The civil and military bureaucracy believed that the Western democracy was not suitable for Pakistan. ये बड़ा जो है वो खुमार या खन्नास है हमारी एस्टेब्लिशमेंट के जो है वो ज़हन में. They think that they are more intelligent, wise, efficient people rather than the elected government. And fortunately or unfortunately, by the way, the elected government have also proved that they are not as efficient as they should be. So what they think, at that time, up to the era of the Ayub Khan, the people were thinking, people now means the civil and the military bureaucracy, they were thinking that the European democracy is not suitable for the Pakistan. Why it is not suitable for Pakistan? They were giving some of the legitimacy. They were saying that there is a more rural people residing in rural areas. Illiterate peoples are also this. There is no education, and they were thinking that for democracy the education is necessary. That was not true. And under developed populace definitely, when there was no education and more rural divide, definitely there was no developed populace. It produced weak, unstable governments. That's why it produced. वो ये कहते थे कि military and civil government, so they were in the position, they say that the governments that are elected on after the democracies, they are weak and they are not powerful. This was their only misperception in the vested interest of their own. The people say on the vested interest of the nation, they were keen about their vested interest and they never allow this. How we can say that a military ruler or the civil or the military bureaucrat can say that this is not fine for us? It is not their duty to decide. Their duty is to just obey to the political government, to policy making is the total jurisdiction of the elected government, and the public administration is on the part of this bureaucracy. So they were totally wrong, and that's why, and still our establishment and the bureaucracy still believes that they are more efficient people as to the other the political or the elected government on different and the continuous occasions. They keep on making claims that destroy the autonomy of the elected government, and due to many reasons, due to many fears, ultimately they are able to escape. Otherwise, if there are such kind of statements on any other developed and the strong democracy, you will see that all the people who will be responsible for this, they will be held before the representative. But thanks to the Pakistan, that the military is out of control. What they do, no one is going to put a hand over this. If Nawaz Sharif tried to investigate the Kargil problem, then definitely and you can see what was his eventuality. Ayub wanted to limit people's participation to choosing political elite or opinion leader from amongst themselves. Ayub Khan ji nahi chahte the. He was never willing to give people authority to choose their representative. Bhai kyun nahi aap de rahe? It is the right of the people. They should be allowed to choose their representative. If I am living in a village, the people of the village know more about my problems. So why a person sitting in the Islamabad is responsible for the development of a person? Let them people do their work. Definitely allow them, strengthen their hands by giving them the fiscal space. Definitely they will perform. It cannot be denied that there still be many of the malpractices, but ultimate solution is that the local governments are performing wonders in many of the developed countries. This partly bureaucratic and partly political system was used for disturbing resources to secure a mandate for Ayub. ये क्यों ये सारा ड्रामा किया गया था? This partly bureaucratic, ना तीतर आधा bread, party bureaucratic, party democratic. Why this was this net was woven? Why this the only reason was that it was used for distributing resources to secure a mandate for Ayub Khan. Ayub was again in the election, so he introduced such kind of system that he could utilize the resources in such a way that the people become loyal to him and he gets the vote of the majority of the people for again re-election of his re-election. This is happening again in Pakistan. You can see that many of the funds that are not specified or allocated for this person are being spent mercilessly or rather ruthlessly for the just to get vote from the people. The system provided many opportunities for corruption. When there is the corruption is the trademark of the illegitimate rulers. They shut their eyes when they see the corruption because they know the people are busy there and their role is strong. They never put hand on the areas where they feel that this could be fired back and their popularity, the so-called popularity, maybe you can say decreased or declined. So the corruption was on the rampant, particularly at the later stage of the Ayub's era. In the beginning there was hard grip of the military dictator, but at the later part of his period he was not in a position to hold this. So the corruption arises and there was deliberately space given for this to get Ayub re-elected. It was further discredited by popular perception of massive irregularities in the president election. In the president election, when there was the one-to-one competition between Muhtarama Fatima Jinnah and Ayub Khan, there were massive irregularities. I am dead sure that the Muhtarama Fatima Jinnah was winning, but she was denied the power, like many times People Party in Pakistan, many times in other the developing countries, that the true winners are denied this one. So the up to here we conclude that the BD system was a local government system. It was a good system, not good for the urban people, but it was more for helpful for the rural people, and most useful for the Ayub Khan, who was legitimating his rule on the basis of this. The basic democracy system had a pronounced and deliberate rural bias, positive rural bias, both in terms of representation, as I said, and flow of resources. The people from rural areas still sing song of Ayub Khan. They say that that was a very golden era. Two reasons for this. The focus of the Ayub regime was totally on the rural areas, because his strength was, he was getting strength from the areas that were the rural areas, and he was definitely focusing on that. Rural areas were given access to development. Many funds were poured to the development of the rural areas. Rural people were given autonomy. The Union Council were given autonomy. They spent the resources on the well-being of the people, ignoring some of the corruption at that time. Through being associated with the rural work programs, it was a very large program, rural work programs, and it definitely gave enough opportunities. It powered the rural peoples, and it gave opportunities for them to strengthen, to be linked to the market. Roads were there, market mechanism was there, and ultimately they were in a position. So in this system, the rural people gained more as compared to their counterparts in the urban areas. This bias was not surprising, given that the main source of Ayub's support lay in the rural areas. अब आप ये ना कहें कि ये bias that was accidentally biased, that the Ayub Khan was pouring funds, Ayub government was pouring funds to the village because they were very humanitarian, or they were very caring about the people of poor people living in the rural areas. The only reason is that is exactly clear, that the Ayub's powers was being drawn from the rural areas due to the its more numbers and its popularity. Union Council were given some development functions and were empowered to impose local taxes or local projects. जहाँ से मुझे फायदा मिलेगा, I will give also some of the benefit as a reciprocal. So the Ayub did the same. The local government were given more autonomy. How the autonomy was given? They were allowed to spend some of the development expenditure, and these were the rural program. Here you can see the rural works program. Works were done good. It is a positive point that at the grassroots level people were given the autonomy, and they were given some part to impose local taxes like the toll tax, etc., and the marriage tax and whatsoever, nikah tax, and the local projects also. It means there were resources that a local body chairman or the member could initiate a project in his area because he has the funds for that, this or that. They were also conferred with certain judicial functions. अब अयूब खान जहाँ से खुश था वहाँ definitely उसने, so some of the judicial powers were also given to these union councils under the Conciliation Courts Ordinance 1961. There was a court ordinance 1961 where some of the judicial powers were shared with at the local level. and with the arbitration powers in divorce proceedings under the Muslim Families Law in 3 तरह की पावर दी गई. Judicial functions under Conciliation Court Ordinance 1961 and arbitration powers in divorce proceeding. Definitely at that time it was also a problem. It is still, divorce is still a problem at this stage at this time. So the powers were given to the people to arbitrarily solve this problem. And how to solve this problem? Under the Muslim Family Ordinance 1961. So it means now what can I conclude up to here? Up to here I can say the BD, despite the BD system of local government, despite its much of the criticism, it still worked for the development of the rural people through different mechanisms. As they were granted more autonomy, more power, they were held responsible to the development of the people. So to some extent we can say that it was a good move, ignoring now the political legitimacy of the General Muhammad Ayub Khan. Ayub rule period continues, and if after this we will definitely we will conclude this. However, the constituencies were small enough to be kept under the coercive control of the civil servant. Civil servant जो है वो इससे खुश नहीं थे. Definitely they want more and more power and more area, and these were very small constituencies that were under the control, and definitely there were large number of countries. If there is small constituencies, there is large number under the control of the civil servants. The Union's Council could again be managed and manipulated through the coercive powers of the center. Again बेचारों का हाल जो है वो फिर जो है वो खराब हो गया. What happened for this? That the Union Council again started to be managed and manipulated through the coercive, strict powers. Definitely these were powers that were sent through the central or the provincial level, that the central government could exercise through the deputy commissioner. It was said that the deputy commissioner will take the will be responsible for this, and he will be taking care of all this system. So rather than giving more autonomy to the Union Council, now there was a reverse gear, and it was the powers were again concentrating onto a non-elect the deputy commissioner, who was the head of the district at that time. In this way, the urban areas were outflanked, and the president's power came directly from the rural areas. In this situation, again when this was the mechanism that it was being, and the deputy commissioner will take over, the whole concentration and the whole focus went on the rural areas. That was the true generating the powerhouse of the General Muhammad Ayub Khan. Before starting the other local government ordinance or the local government mechanism, it is better to just speak 1 or 2 minutes on the Ayub's era. Ayub's era started in 1958 after the taking when he took over from the political landscape, political regime, and he became the dictator of the Pakistan, first dictator. He introduced the BDs, the basic democracies, although he introduced the Podo and Abdos, some of the notorious ordinances to control and restrict the political people out of the political landscape, yet it cannot be denied that these democracies worked particularly for the development and the prosperity of the local people. Why this happened? Because the powerhouse of the Ayub Khan was from the villages, and as a reciprocity he gave more attention to the local people, and the Union Council were giving some of the autonomies. Particularly the most important autonomy was the more funds available for them to address to the problem of the people. ignoring that there was some of the malpractices, still we cannot say we acknowledge that these worked and the people got benefit from this. Now another era starts from the Zia and post-Zia period. Zia emerged on the scene of Pakistan in 1977. He imposed martial law on 5th of July 1977 when he took over from the Bhutto and he became the military dictator of Pakistan. Many of the politicians were sent into the jails, and ultimately Bhutto, the leader, the prime minister of that time, was hanged through a so-called judicial trial. We are not going to discuss this political system. We are going to discuss the local government. Sometimes we go into the context to understand that why this happened. So I will be taking some permission from you that when I want to emphasize some of the thing, I want to bring some other factors that were directly related to that point. So in 1977 he became the ruler. He now the Zia. Otherwise he was the General Muhammad Ziaul Haq, the president of Pakistan also. After a nascent period under Bhutto, local governments were revived by General Ziaul Haq. Bhutto was a charismatic leader. He had very small time, but he introduced number of reforms. But his local reforms we can't say that these were very attractive as is other reforms. So after his 5 or 6 years rule, when the Zia came, again Zia tried to revive the local government system. क्यों हुआ जी ऐसा? I am now 100% sure that you can immediately answer this question, because Zia was also a military dictator, और military dictators needs crutches. उसको भी जो है वो विसाखियों की ज़रूरत होती है, so that he could climb or survive on those Bisakis, so that he could continue his role. Like Ayub, definitely the political government gets institution from the political government, and the dictator tries to follow the other dictator and want to see that how he progressed, how he continued, how he prolonged his tenure, and what were the faults or the mistakes that were made by that led to the downfall of that people. Like Ayub, Zia combined political centralization at the federal level with decentralization from the provincial to the local level in order to legitimize his military regime. सेंटर में भी पावर ले ली ज़ियाउल हक साहब ने, और प्रोविंशियल से अपनी पावर्स जो है वो कंट्रोल में रखी एट द सेंटर. He never allows to lose his grip on the central, and the powers of the province were further given to at the local level, and in this way he thought that he could legitimate his military rule. I think he had no need to do this, because he was very clever, very cunning, and very you can say powerful man, and he need not do this. But by the way, he has to play this drama to just put the dust into the eyes of the people, not the educated people, only the people that were particularly. He was very famous among the religious people, and if I start just counting the curses of that era, that is the most black era of Pakistan history, that is the Zia era from 1977 to 88. 11 years this nation was on the merciless and ruthless decisions of the Zia regime. Political centralization was achieved through the imposition of martial law. अपने आप को तो उसने सेव कर लिया when he imposed the martial law, and he said definitely all the political power went towards the General Ziaul Haq. 1973 constitution went in abeyance, He suspended the 1973 constitution, and he used to say that what is the constitution? It is just a page and I can tear it any time. He was so powerful at that time, and he did this. He proved this, that he can play foul with the constitution, and he can make the people fool for a very long time, almost 11 years. And I am sure if there was not the accident of the C-130 in August 1988, there was no any other alternate to get rid of them, because he was so fond of ruling the country. He was very famous among the mafias, the religious mafias, the other mafias also. The 8th Constitution Amendment was passed. जब उसने थोड़ा सा political system बना लिया in 1985, गैर जमाती non-party basis election were held of the provincial and the national assemblies also. There was also the Prime Minister, very famous for drama, Ziaul Haq, and the first Prime Minister of this drama was the Muhammad Khan Junaid, very, very intelligent guy and very, very simple, and you can say very honest guy at that time. But unfortunately, he was also victim of Zia's this 8th Amendment. What this one? ब्रिटिश क्या करते थे, अपना जो है वो नॉन इलेक्टिव गवर्नर लगा देते थे. Ayub also did this by introducing one of the non-elective representative. But Zia was one step further. He passed the 8th Amendment from the political leaders. Look at the beauty of this stage. उसने इन्हीं से पास करवाई 1985 असेंबली से. No doubt it was passed by putting the revolver on the foreheads of the leaders, and he got the 8th Amendment. What was this? That the president can dissolve the national and the provincial assemblies at any time without given some of the proper reason. And our two-time Nawaz Sharif, two-time Benazir in 90 and in 97, these were the victims of this 18th Amendment. And thanks God, now it is now the part of our constitution. It was a very, very teasing amendment, and Zia used it on the very first time. That established indirect military rule through a quasi-presidential form of government. उसने presidential form of government भी नहीं बनने दी. वो खुद elect भी जो है वो जो है इनसे जो है उसने elect होने दिया इन लोगों को, that were the political people, और इन्हीं से उसने जो है वो पास करवाई. And what was that? That was the 18th Amendment. What was this? This was the empowerment of the military through indirect way. Military rule, because Zia was a military ruler, he was the chief of the army staff, and definitely at the same time he was the president of the Pakistan. So he strengthened his grip through this 8th Amendment. 8th Amendment, many people knows, 8वीं तरमीम, and I think you will be well aware of this. And now the credit goes to the these political parties that have just gone out of the scenes, that they have introduced good amendments into the laws, and now 8th Amendment is not part of the law, and now the president cannot dissolve the assemblies due to any reason. It is now only the jurisdiction of the president. He can dissolve the assembly at any time. Decentralization, the era, this is the again Zia era, it will continue over 4 or 5 slides. From 1979 to 85, there are 2 phases. Up to 85, there was no political government, but after 85, there was the political government, provincial assemblies, governors, and the central government, prime minister, and the president was already there. That was the Ziaul Haq, and he was so powerful on the pillars of the 8th Amendment. Decentralization was achieved. Political जो will थी वो Ziaul Haq ने मार्शल लॉ लगा के जो है वो political power हासिल कर ली. Decentralization was achieved through the promulgation of local government ordinance. Ziaullah, that he also tried to decentralize, because there was media, there was hue and cry from the outer side of the country, so that the dictator feels very uneasy. So he tried to make such kind of things. I would not like to repeat this. So how he tried to decentralize the power, he promulgated a government ordinance that is called the Local Government Ordinance also. Local bodies were elected in all 4 provinces during 1979 and 1980s. The election kept on holding, and it was the Local Government Ordinance 1979, and the local bodies, on the basis of this ordinance, local bodies were elected in 1979 and 1980, and in all parts of the Pakistan, in all means the 4 provinces of Pakistan, Balochistan, Sindh, KPK. At that time it was Northwest Frontier Post, and the Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, KPK, these were the provinces. The army sought to use its old strategy of divide and rule. What the army? Army means the bureaucracy. What they, उन्होंने कहा कि लोगों को लड़ाते रहें आपस में. And you can see the era of Zia. There, I will talk about that, how some of the party emerged. There was heroine culture in Zia's, Kalashnikov culture in Zia's eras. There was sectarianism in Zia. There was political fight in Zia. There was fight on many other fronts. The people were fighting with one another, and the military was enjoying this situation, because it is the rule of the military that divide and rule. If the people become united, they are a threat for the military. By creating a new and competing class of collaborative local level politician को politician के साथ local level पे जो है वो लड़ा दिया. Just because there was non-party elections for this, and then there was the hidden forces that brought, and there was election after many years, so every person wanted to go through this, and the political people were on Biradrism, were in front of each other, and there was so mess in those elections. Zia also sought to neutralize the influence of political parties by holding local election on a non-party basis. Zia Sahab jo hai, Zia, Musharraf, Ayub, they are all afraid of the political parties. They never allow them to flourish and grow, because they are deaf, and they are true that they are the threat for them. So what this is, Zia tried to neutralize the political parties by holding local election on it. Zia से लोगों ने बड़ा कहा कि जी पार्टी बेसिस पे इलेक्शन करा दें, but he never agreed, and on sitting on the seat of Zia, you can imagine he was right, because on the party basis, the party governments, the local government becomes stronger, making threats for the military dictators, and they never allow this. So उसने इस तासर को थोड़ा सा ज़ाइल करने के लिए उसने जो है वो न्यूट्रलाइज कर दिया कि पॉलिटिकल जो पार्टीज़ हैं उनका इन्फ्लुएंस थोड़ा सा न्यूट्रलाइज हो जाए. किस तरह से कि उसने नॉन पार्टी इलेक्शन जो है वो करवा दिए. Moreover, electoral competition was significantly weakened. Electoral competition was significantly not strengthened. I am using the word, it was weakened when the army disqualified a large number of candidates with the PP affiliation in 1979. Definitely, Zia hanged Bhutto. He was, and the People Party was the most powerful party at that time. So like Abdo of Ayub Khan, Zia disqualified many of the political leaders of the Pakistan People Party. Many of the leaders were sent to the jails, many were tortured, even some were the missings. So ultimately he disqualified. There was a deal between the political leader and the military ruler that are the still honor of this country, Pakistan. What was their deal between those people? अगर तो वो मिलिट्री को डिक्टेटरशिप को कबूल करने के लिए तैयार हो जाते, then they were not disqualified, but on the same time if someone was unwilling to work with the military military intentions, then he was not allowed to. For this many people, and particularly from the Pakistan People Party, this was disqualified. So what happened when you restrict a political party leaders to go to the election, the validity of the election becomes questionable. So same happened with the Zia. If we go to the historical evidence, just that these measures resulted in the localizations and personalizations of politics at the local level. इसका क्या इफेक्ट हुआ जब आपने पार्टी बेसिस पे इलेक्शन नहीं गए? व्हाट वाज द रिजल्ट? द रिजल्ट वाज ऑन द बोर्ड एंड इट वाज वेरी वेरी क्लियर रिजल्ट. व्हाट वाज दिस रिजल्ट? दैट रेदर देन द पार्टी, नाउ देयर वाज द बिरादरिज्म, there was the individualism. Now the people could win on their only individual, and that was very fair according to the Zia, because he wanted to get those people very near that could have their own strength in those areas. So historically the Zia weakened the political landscape of Pakistan. He used landscape in his own interest like all other military dictators, and from there the individualism and the personalization of politics at local level. इससे पहले जो है वो सूरत हाल नहीं थी, अब जो है वो बिरादरिज्म और इसमें जो है वो सूरत हाल बढ़ गई. एंड इफ द सिचुएशन वाज ऑलरेडी देयर, डेफिनेटली इट फर्दर बिकेम मोर डेंजरस. The first phase of the Zia era continues from 1907 to 85. Zia local government ordinance versus Ayub's basic democracies ordinance 1959. We want to make a very smart comparison of this to military dictator. दोनों ने जो है वो local government ordinance जारी किए, LGO local government ordinance 1979 by Zia, and BDO basic democracies offices by अयूब इन 1959. अगर अयूब और ज़िया इस वक्त होते तो जिस तरह मैं इनके as I am calling the names of Ayub and Zia, I was dead sure that the people and the agencies should have picked me up and my name may have written on the missing list. So thanks God that the scenario has changed, and this was the situation of that. And it is quite possible that if I was regarding the lecture at that time, quite possible I may speaking the same things irrespective of the consequences that could have happened. Zia sought to reduce bureaucratic control by elevating elected members. Zia ने ये कोशिश की कि bureaucratic role जो है it could be reduced by elevating the elected members. No doubt that these elected members were almost as loyal to the Zia-ul-Haq as the members were loyal to the British. So he was not worried about this, but he tried to minimize the control of the bureaucracy by elevating the elected members. But what Ayub said, Deputy Commissioner was both the controlling authority and the executive head of the district council. But he said he gave more power to the Deputy Commissioner was a bureaucrat, and in any of the system, if it has been functioning in Pakistan, he has enough powers and he is being called the king of the district. So if we draw the difference between this, Zia tried to minimize the role of bureaucracy and tried to elevate elevate the elected members, but on the other side, by using the Abdo and Podo, Ayub tried to strengthen the role of bureaucracy, and as the Deputy Commissioner was given many of the charges to run the states. Zia's local government also created a legislative rural-urban divide. Zia से क्या होगा कि जब इसने लोकल, तो वहाँ एक डिवाइड पैदा हो गई जी, legislative rural-urban divide. this was done by Zia deliberately. By defining autonomous local councils for urban areas. For rural areas, there was the Union Council. For the urban areas, there was the urban areas, there were the local councils. So it means the era of Ayub was positively biased towards the rural areas. But on the other hand, Zia's make a legislative divide, giving both priorities to the rural and the urban, and it was in the urban areas, these were the local councils. This was a deviation from BDO which emphasized rural-urban coordination. Zia साहब डिवाइड के हक में थे, लड़ा दो सबको, divide and rule. The Ayub tried to make coordination between the rural and urban, although there was a positive bias towards the rural, but Zia created such a system that there was a huge divide between the rural, and it was a legislative divide. The system was divided in such a way that it was the certain consequences of this. So this legislative rural-urban divide was on the scene. How this was achieved? This was achieved district council that has representative from both rural. This is now I am talking about Ayub Khan's Tehsil councils, urban areas and urban areas. These were. This is the repetition. These was the municipal committees. So this was, you can say, the difference between Zia's policies and the Ayub Khan's policies. So here is a mechanism I can understand. I think you can also see. This is, if you see, that the pre-devolution structure of Zia. So what was this? Before Zia, this was the federation. This was the provinces. If you look at this arrow, it is the administration. And if you see, now on this side there is the provincial administration, and if you see here the district administration also. On the left side, क्या हमने जो है वो इसको जो है वो बयान किया था कि that there was some kind of the mechanism, and from provincial to local government, when there were local, this was the rural, and this was the district council, and this was the urban, these were the metropolitan corporations. If I come on this side, this is the rural, this is the rural, and this is the urban at district level, and this was the Tehsil level, and development authority, this was for the urban. And if I come from here, from district level to these was the Markaz, from urban and for the urban councils, and from metropolitan, these was the metropolitical corporations and town committees also. This was the pre-devolution structure that the Zia faced, and we will see that how the further was being done. So giving the last slide for this, I would like to go to the summary of this lecture that is here. So what we learn about here? We started from the Ayub Khan's regime, and we just concluded that his regime was in one sense it was good in the sense of the rural areas, because they were given more autonomy, and the people or the rural areas were more happy. The Zia came after the 1977, after the takeover of the Bhutto political government. He introduced the local body ordinance in 1979. Elections were held in all the provinces, and he tried to legitimate his presidency, or you can say the government, for this. Fortunately, in 1985, he also conducted the provincial and the National Assembly's elections on non-party basis. And what he did, he got past a 8th amendment in which the president was given power to dissolve the assemblies at any time. It was an indirect control of the military over the political leadership or the political people, and the Zia made use of this Eighth Amendment when he sent back home the elected Prime Minister Muhammad Khan Junejo. Zia tried to neutralize the political system by giving more autonomy to the urban and the rural people for this. If we draw the difference between the local ordinance of 1959 of the Ayub Khan and the Zia of 1970, there is a very good contrast. Zia tried to minimize, not to maximum minimize, Zia minimized the role of the bureaucracy by giving elevation to the elected members. On the other hand, the more power, the Ayub Khan strengthened the bureaucracy by giving more power to the deputy commissioners, and he was the all in all of that time. Further, the difference, if we go between the further difference between this Zia and his, the further difference was that Zia created a rural-urban divide, and that was not the consequence of the Ayub's role. So we will keep on discussing of this story, Zia's stories, because his decisions were more lethal to the country as compared to the previous one, because there was urban-rural divide, there was religion divide, there was sectarian divide, there was his only purpose was to divide and rule, and he was extremely successful in this situation. Although he played the drama of the local bodies ordinance, but he got he ensured his rule by making such of the political changes into the system that no one came to challenge him, and by the only God will, he just went out of the scene. In 1988, he hanged a very political and popular leader, Zia, without any reason. He has so control over the bureaucracy like the judiciary, executive and others, that he could get any decisions of his choice. So till the next lecture, we will discuss the Zia's this local government ordinance through different angle. At the end, I also gave you some of the pin picture, or you can see here the diagram for this. This is the heading of this. They are the pre-devolution structure, and we will see that what the changes made by Mr. Ziaul Haq to the political regime for this. So till that time, enjoy the life, enjoy the political landscape of Pakistan, and see that how different character appeared on the scene of Pakistan. And thanks God that still Pakistan has survived. The people played havoc with Pakistan, but by the grace of Pakistan, it is still there, and we hope to have its continue, because our survival is linked with the Pakistan. See you in the next lecture soon. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.